Hey guys, welcome back to Adventure Camping. Tactical Nut here, and today I wanted to talk about my everyday carry bag. At the end of every video that I have, I always end with the line, always be prepared and have fun. When I say that, I'm not just saying it because it's a cool catch line or anything like that, but I say it because I actually mean it. I believe that every day when you go out into the world, work, play, vacation, whatever, that there's things that you should be prepared for. Now there's no way to be prepared for everything, and I don't even want to advocate being one of the doomsday prepper kind of people as to being so paranoid that every day when you walk out of your house the world's going to end. But at the same time, there's an easy way to be prepared for everyday disasters, problems, situations, accidents, all of those kind of things to be ready for, and you're not really having to change your lifestyle in order to do it. Now for me, when I walk out of the house, there's a few things that I'm always going to have in my pockets no matter what. First thing is always going to be my wallet. Right now I'm carrying the Maxpedition wallet. I have had this for I think over a year now. It's made out of 1,000 denier nylon, and aside from the pocket lint being on it, you almost really can't even tell that there's any wear on it. I mean, because literally all of this would just pick right off. Typically every year I have to buy a new wallet because I used to use all leather wallets, and by the end of the year they were just worn completely out. But this one, I mean, I have to say is held up outstanding, so way to go Maxpedition. The next things I will have with me is I always have 2 pocket knives, at least, because I want a full-size pocket knife to go for any of your larger, either potentially self-defense task or large cutting task, anything like that. This is the Benchmade Barrage, still in testing and review, but so far, just to let you know, holding up outstanding. This is the San Renmu. I like to have a small one for small cutting tasks, or if you're just in an environment where you're worried that the people around you may think less of you or panic or just have that, oh my god, he's got a knife kind of mentality. A small one never intimidates anybody, so it's always good to have one that can do all of the main cutting tasks you would need, and one for the smaller cutting task, or one for the more public area to be in. Another is always going to have my phone. Now this is just the iPhone 4. Nothing spectacular about it. I like the case that I have on it, but probably going to be getting a new one soon, but means of communicating. Now in my wallet I always have a survival tool. This is one that you'll see a lot of different companies have. It's a lot of different multi-tools on it. You got a saw, a can opener, bottle opener, wrenches of different sorts, a ruler. You even have a cutting edge here that is a chisel grind. I've never really put this to much use except for the ruler, just because usually I have other tools, but it's good to know I have a backup just in case anything, or you get separated from your bag, or you lost the tools that you have, because you will notice that there's definitely a good number of redundancies in the stuff that I carry. Now this I have done the review on, and this is the credit card knife. I like this because it folds up into the wallet, but at the same time, as I did in my review before, you will see that this thing actually is an excellent cutter for a very small, lightweight task. So just remember, the number one thing is, if you have to go somewhere that has security or knives are not allowed, remember this blade is steel. This is not plastic like the rest of it, so you're not going to get through any kind of security. I don't recommend it. If knives are not allowed, don't carry it. But it fits in your wallet just perfect, so if you're in any other kind of environment where knives are allowed, this is a great backup option to have. It's very thin. As you can see, it's about the width of 2 credit cards. And it was extremely sharp, and it's actually very helpful. Way more than I probably even thought it was going to be. Now a couple things that I usually have in my pocket, or I usually have in the top pocket of my bag. A little bit of candy. Mostly just because I learned, especially on my trip where I was doing the survival kit test of the 3 days in a can, having a little bit of candy in your pocket, just that little bit of flavor in your mouth, sometimes is an excellent morale booster. The sugar could be a good energy booster. Or just if you're hungry, you got something to go with it. So, leads me to the bag. This is the Extreme Pack. That is the brand. I got it on eBay. It was for 20 bucks. It's got the more of the real tree camo. They had some other options, but I went with this instead of the digital camo military style. Got my Nothing Fancy Fear No Evil name tag. So obviously you can see you got the Velcro nameplate attachment. You got MOLLE webbing here. MOLLE webbing on the side, which is where I attach the two tactical wallets from Red Jacket. It is the sling pack, so you got the one over the shoulder, and then I have the one around the waist. So it's actually been extremely comfortable, way more comfortable than I thought. And I had to get a new system of carrying stuff around because I don't have my concealed carry permit yet, but I'm working on getting it. And I wanted to get used to having a different carry system because I am thin. So for me, there's a lot of carry options that are not going to be available. So I wanted to be used to carrying something with me so that I could have a firearm in it if I needed to. Now, as you can see here, you got this webbing straps, so you could put something through here and use your pull tie to tie it down. You got another Velcro for nameplates. And then I'll start from the back and work my way in. You got this back zipper compartment here, which just goes straight back. And as you can see here, this would be a perfect spot if you had a concealed carry permit to keep a firearm and an extra magazine or two. I keep in it old boot knife, double-edged, your Texas toothpick. I've had this for a really long time. Never ever had to use it. I've used it for a little bit of throwing. It's kind of fun. But full tank construction. It is a Japanese 440 stainless by Frost Cutlery. I can't even tell you where to get it because I've had it for so long that I don't even know if you can anymore. But it was really cool when I had it. But nice leather sheath. Secures its way in with a strap on the back. And so, to me, this is kind of my last-ditch effort in an emergency if I really had to defend myself. This is where this goes. Once I get my concealed carry permits, that's where that will go. Now, in the next first main pocket, I do have asthma, so I always want to keep my inhaler with me just in case. I've never really ran into any emergencies where I needed it, but you never want to be without just in case. This is the Ultrafire little mini Cree flashlight that I reviewed last week, I think it was. Great little light, small, compact, bright enough to do most things that you want, zoomable. Then of course I have my Spyderco Resilience. This one I love because it's kind of more of my backup tactical knife. If I was in an emergency situation I had to defend myself, this would be kind of my first option to go to because it has a lot of reach. It's a great blade, a great shape. Or, just in everyday carry tasks, it can do a lot of cutting options. Got a little thing of chapstick. I'm probably going to do a video on this because I saw it on another channel. I don't want to steal the ideas, but I think it's a lot of good information to have. But there's so many uses for chapsticks that it's just unreal. More than I ever thought possible. And I never even used chapstick, but as you will see, I'm going to keep a good amount of it with me. Afterbite. Because if you saw my survival video where I was in the woods and getting chigger bites beyond belief, especially if you're in the south, a lot of mosquitoes and other bugs, good to have with you. And it actually works really well. It just doesn't last for a really long time. But it does do a whole lot of good. It actually really stops the itch. Now, multi-tool. Invaluable tool to have. This is the Schrade. This one is still in testing and review. It has a lot of tools. But for me, I haven't had a lot of opportunities to use it yet, so once I get done with the testing and review, I will do a full review on this, but so far It's helped out in the times that I've needed it, but there's a lot of stuff that I'm just going to have to kind of create the situations in order to use it. But the pouch is good. It's got a belt clip that you can slide over your belt or through your belt, so I like those options. In the pack now, this is where you start to get the real meat and potatoes of why you're going to need to carry stuff every day. Emergency survival blanket. This is the SOL. I carry this on every camping trip, hiking trip, everywhere I go, because these things work amazing as far as holding in heat. And so, as having this in an emergency when you need to keep your body warm, or even with this type of blanket, you can really keep rain off of you. These things are outstanding. So if you've never had one before, the little silver Mylar ones that are like $2, those do pretty good. These blow it out of the water. So get yourself one of these. They're only like $3 or $4, so money well spent. Now this, tube of petroleum jelly. If you have seen any of my channels, any of my hiking videos, you always see that I start fires with a cotton ball soaked in petroleum jelly. You will see in here that I have cotton balls already prepared that way, but I always keep them back up, excuse me, of the petroleum jelly, because you can't have too much. This right here is my backup battery for my cell phone. It's made by Anchor. And everywhere I go, just so Mrs. Tactical Nut, who's actually filming right now, can make sure that I can get in contact with her, I will carry this with me. I can charge my cell phone about 2.5 times with this. So if I'm out in the woods for a few days, I always carry this so I know my phone always has power. And of course, in that same bag, I carry a couple of backup AA batteries just so my flashlights have some extra power. Next, tissue on the go. Obviously, need to wipe your nose, need to go to the bathroom, invaluable thing to have.
No leaves for Tactical Nut.
Yes, and you don't have to use leaves just in case you use the wrong leaf. You don't want to have to worry about making the wrong decision. Now, the life straw. I have 2 ways of filtering water. This one I carry with me. The life straw is excellent. I've used it several times. Never had any issues from it. It's $20. Filters out 300 gallons of water. The other one I have, the Mini Sawyer. It's 100,000 gallons. I amazingly just keep this one with me because this one's the first one that's going to wear out. The Sawyer I'm going to keep at the house just in case anything goes wrong here. We can filter a lot more water. But this has worked absolutely excellent. So a good way of filtering water if you need it. Now, backup key for the cars, my wife's car. I've got extra paracord. I have a carabiner on this. And I also have, as they call it, the doohickey. This is by Night Eyes. Little carabiner attachment. I mean, there's not a whole lot of multi-tool uses here. Okay, absolutely not. But you got a pry bar, you got a flathead screwdriver, you got a bottle opener, and you got a hex wrench, and you even have a little ruler right here. So more uses than it looks like, but pretty useful little tool to have in a pinch. And of course, with the amount of knives that I always carry, you always need a filled sharpener. This is the Sharp and Easy. It served its purpose, it's done well. I am looking into getting a different one because I have seen some areas where this could be improved. The Camillus one I think would be probably the next one I buy as far as a filled sharpener. Because that one's only like $10, this was like $3. The Work Sharp would probably be my ideal version, but that one's $30 for a filled sharpener, so I'm going to try the Camillus first, just because it's $10. Altoids tape. Everybody in the world in the survival, preparedness, whatever community, everybody's doing their whole Altoid 10 survival kits. Mine, I'm not doing a survival kit, I'm just packing it full of cotton balls, coated in Vaseline, and then I throw in some alcohol swabs because they're dual purpose. You can either clean wounds, wash your hands, or they're also good for starting fires. And this tin isn't completely waterproof, but it is going to be very water resistant to keep stuff away. Plus it's in a plastic bag, so you got the dual purpose. The SOL Survival Kit. I already did a review on this, so if you want to know all about it, please check it out. And it'll give you all the information of what's in it, but a lot of redundancies even to what I have here, but it works extremely well. Now, yes, I have a handheld flashlight, but a headlamp is invaluable because there's nothing better than being able to do a lot of camp tasks, survival tasks, work around your house without having to hold the light. Being able to have it around your head worked extremely well, and this light has done pretty good. It's a Defiant. I think I got 2 of them for $10, and the lumen count was really high for this. And the 3 modes, I won't say it's 3, it's really 1, because the red light serves no purpose because it's almost the same time as the headlight. So, but as for inexpensive as it was, it's a good little backup to have. First aid kit. You can never express enough how important it is to have at least some level of first aid. This was a very small, very basic kit at Target that I got, but I keep a bigger kit in my car, so I wasn't very concerned about having this being really extensive, but I did add a few things to it, just in case. What did I add to it? Another little thing of chapstick. One of the survival towels that I had in my survival kit from the 3 days in a can, because once you get this a little bit wet, it's actually going to help you wipe yourself down, clean off wounds, or even a little extra bandage for stopping bleeding. I like the liquid bandage because this is, I use it all the time. I will tell you right now, do not use this on children because it stings when you put it on, and it stings kind of a lot. So for little kids, they're actually kind of scared or a little angry at you when you first put it on because it's going to hurt. But it does work really, really well. Keeps a wound clean and waterproof. Everything else was here. Did add in the tampon that came in with the survival kit from the 3 days in a can because these are amazing at stopping major wounds, a lot of bleeding. So you could pop this into if you had a large gash, just plus that right in there, and it really helps stop a lot of bleeding. A few extra bandages from the survival kit from the 3 days in the can. But what comes in it already, you have antibiotic ointments, pain relievers, alcohol wipes. 2 things that really made it stand out for me was the ice pack and the Q-tips. These are great for cleaning out wounds. You can also use these to cut in half, stick it into the chapstick, use it like a candle. But baby Glock, every time we go out, or a lot of times when we do, she's very good at twisting her ankles. So having a good ice pack and stuff that is ready to go with us is very important. And of course you got some pain relievers, other basic items. It's a 73-piece kit. The way it came, I've obviously added stuff to it for either very little money or for what I already had. Kind of can't go wrong. Next pocket. I always wear a survival bracelet, or a paracord bracelet, but also now I keep one as a backup. Another Altoids Type 10, but for here, paper clips, using for holding gear together, for hanging stuff up. You could use it for a fishing hook if you needed to. The credit card knife is so cheap. They're like $3 a piece because they're for basically free on the internet, except for you just pay the shipping, so why not have a backup? And then I keep a little survival fishing kit in here. As you can see, I have lures, bobber. This is the inside of a paracord. More chapstick, because you can't go wrong. Little fire tender, and I even have survival matches, the stormproof matches in here. So this I'm kind of playing with, I'm going to keep working with. I will probably change it quite a few times before I decide on if I really like it and want to keep it this way, or use it as something completely different and scrap the whole survival kit or the fishing kit. But this, believe it or not, is not a pen. This is a multi-tool. Because in here, as you can see, little screwdriver bits, almost like little precision toolkits. I have a flathead, 2 different Phillips heads, or 2 different flatheads as well. So 4 little options for more of your precision tool style kits. It looks like a pen, but another thing that I really like about it is that it also has a light at the end of it, because you can never have too many flashlights. This one has, and I've never taken the little yellow tab off, but if you do, because I don't want to activate the battery, because once you do, the batteries will start dying. But this, if I take this little tab off and you push it down, the light will come on. It's only about like a 10 lumen light, but pretty neat, because you will put the bits into this end. You can use it just like a pen, but you now have like a little extra toolkit. Plus, bigger chapstick. One day, I'll probably actually use chapstick, but until then, at least I will have it to save my life if I need it. In the very front pocket, for now, a little packet of coffee, just in case you need a little pick-me-up wherever you're going. And of course, you can never have too many lighters, because this is the easiest and best way to ever start a fire. So, I'm sure over time that pocket will get filled up as well. And then let's move to the tactical wallets, where you get a little more meat and potatoes. Now this is maybe why I will eventually scrap the fishing kit in the tin can, or in the Altwist style tin, because this is the survival grenade. It has a fire still and a survival fishing kit in it, along with a carabiner, fire still, and a striker. So I may end up scratching the whole tin that I have in here and create something else new for it. And these tactical wallets, I will do a whole separate review on that, because they are pretty cool. Here I have the Michael Hawk Castrol neck knife. This thing has done extremely well, extremely durable, very sharp, great little backup knife. And I will tell you, I mean, there's been a bunch of trips where I have taken them around my neck, and I'm not a huge fan of neck knives, but this one actually works pretty well. But I'm not going to carry one all the time, but I like having it in here as a good backup. And these little pouch behind, I just keep some post-it notes and index cards just in case in emergency I need to leave a note for somebody, or I need to write what's going on in my area, directions where I've gone, land features, anything like that that need to know, like where I'm going, where I've been, because I either need to remind myself or I need to let other people know where I've been or where I'm going. I keep that in there. Wet ones, good way to clean yourself, because even just feeling a little bit cleaner in a survival situation makes you feel a whole lot better. And sometimes just when you're camping and hiking, it makes you feel really good. So, inside of that pocket, the bigger one, I even have a micro mini tool, my NRA. It has a keychain, but I would never put this on my actual keys just because of the weight of it. But it does serve its own little purposes, because for a regular size multi-tool, they can't always do the smaller tasks, and the smaller tools can't always do the larger tasks. So that's why it's kind of good to have a backup. My only complaint is it only has a few tools, which that's okay because it's really small. The biggest thing was that I liked about it was because it had a flashlight on it. This worked one time. Put the batteries in, turned it on, a couple days later, moved it back again, no light. Called the NRA, they sent me a new one, so I now have 2 of these. I put the batteries in, it worked one time again, and hasn't worked since. So, I don't know if it's just a very poor design or a very bad battery choice, but either way, the little flashlight didn't work, but at least I have a great little the rest of the tool works really well. Alright, so almost last for this one. This is the Nightcore flashlight, the one that I've done a review on. This is outstanding light. I absolutely love this. I can't talk enough about it. This just absolutely rocks. You should get one. In case you haven't seen the review, it's the MT21A. Awesome, highly recommended, Hall of Fame light. Very, very bright, but not too bright. It's definitely not more than you will ever need. And here, I keep a pen, because you're going to always have to either, if you need to leave a note, or take notes for yourself, you obviously have to have something to write with, so I just have a regular old ballpoint pen. Works extremely well, but I also like it because, once again, another little backup light. Not real bright, but it will work really well for reading a map, or if you need to be in an area where you don't want to ruin your night vision. This is very good to have because you can at least see things up close, but when you go back out into the woods, you're not blind again. So, alright, last pocket. And I may switch these to inside the pack. I may scrap them all together. Right now they're working out really well. Or they may just go in the hiking packs. I haven't decided. I've been experimenting with a lot, but until then, I do have my Primus fire still. This thing works extremely well. It was 12,000 strikes, I think is what it's rated for. But throws a good amount of spark, so I do like it as another option. I can't tell you how much you should keep little tea lights in your bag, because this can be a good source of heat in a tent. It could be a source for boiling water. You could sit this under a small amount of sticks and stuff. A great way to start fire, because this is going to keep burning as long as that wax is there. So sometimes this can actually be better than the cotton balls and the petroleum jelly. But I kind of keep this as kind of a last resort. I can't start a fire in any other way. This is a great way to go. Trioxane, old military fire starter. This is a bar that's in here. It's inside of aluminum foil. Typically you can get it at gun shows for about $2 a box. This stuff works amazingly well. Another backup fire starter, because if you've ever known anything about survival, fire is going to be your end-all, be-all way to get by. You can purify water, cook food, stay warm. So many things you need to do, so I can't underemphasize how many ways you need to be able to do it because of where you are and what could possibly go wrong. So this works awesome. Would not teach children to use it at first, because when it starts to burn, you can't see the flame. And so this isn't the safest way to teach children to start fires, but it is definitely a surefire way to start fires. Next you have, this is from the Friendly Swede magnesium bar. This, you will use the scraper to scrape off typically about a nickel to dime size amount of this bar, and then you use this fire still right here to create your sparks to burn the magnesium. Just one more way, as I say over and over, you cannot have too many ways to start fire, because this is what's going to save your butt in the worst and worst of times. Because when all else fails, if you can stay warm, you can get dry, you can purify water and cook food, you've pretty much got everything that you need. Once again, I have more wet ones, just because getting clean, and of course these are alcohol based, so they also can help start fire. Alright, once again, another lighter. Can't have too many of them, because the worst thing you could have happen is you only carry one lighter, and then you go to strike it one day and you realize it's out of fuel because this little button's been hit or compressed and it's lost fluid, from one way or another. That's why you carry backups, but more than one lighter, they don't weigh much. So in that same pocket beneath the lighter, so I don't forget that it's there, is your stormproof matches. It's in a waterproof container. And these things you cannot put out. So just one more way that your life can only get better. It's got a striker inside the case. As you can see here, the emphasis is on fire starting, and that's a huge reason, and I can't emphasize it enough, because that is going to be your major lifesaver. So don't even underestimate it yourself. Now this knife, my Cold Steel Kudu, still in testing and review. Another backup blade. I put this one in here because the lockup can hold 100 pounds before the lockup will break. They can bend this blade, I think it was to about 35 degrees, and it pops back into its regular shape with no damage. So to me, that's a lot of hard use that I could put a blade through in an emergency situation or a survival situation, and I don't have to worry about it. So this is still in testing and review. Once I get done with it, I'm going to definitely let you know how it worked out, and it was very inexpensive. I got it for less than $8. So you definitely can't go wrong with that. I would not put this into a self-defense manner, simply because in order to close it, I've got to pull back on this ring and push it forward, and then it is only a two-handed open. So yes, is it so far held up to be a great strong knife, but yes, it's not fast deploying, so this is not an emergency, last-ditch emergency use kind of thing. This is a very deliberate, I know what I'm going to do with this knife. So the last two things, kind of up under here, I have what they call an S-beaner. I have one on each side. These were less than $1 each, and each one will hold 10 pounds. So I'm not going to hang a lot of stuff or do a lot of stuff, but you can attach a lot of things using this. And of course, as you can see, the bag has the MOLLE webbing on either side, which is how I attach the pouches. Alright, so for me, this is what I carry every day, everywhere I go. This will accommodate almost any scenario that I could possibly come across, living in the city, a day hike, anything like that. Now, you know, if a hurricane hit or some kind of major national disaster, will I need a little more? Yes. But this honestly would get me through 3 or 4 days of getting to where I need to be. The only thing this doesn't provide was food, except for the little snack that I have here. But I could easily add some Daytrex bars into this, and I'm ready to go for pretty much anything that will come my way. So just kind of wanted to show you what I carry every day, what I mean by being prepared. And you know, when I say be prepared and have fun, it's knowing I got whatever is coming my way. I can control that. I can take care of myself, but at the same time, I can enjoy myself because I don't have to worry. So hopefully this helps you in putting something together for yourself. The items here, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. If you have any of the different options that you would use, put them in the comments below. I would really love to hear what other people carry. This bag made of 600 denier nylon, so it's held up outstandingly well so far. It was only 20 bucks on eBay. So I had a Maxpedition that I was looking at, but it was like 80. So when I saw 20, I'm definitely going to go for that because that's, you know, more my affordability range. So just anything that you think, Phil, whatever you do, let me know. Please, I would love to hear, love to see some discussion on it. But I think I have a pretty good kit here. So let me know what you think. Let me know if it helped you. In the meantime, be prepared and have fun.